Tell me what destroys a man first, his enemies or his own heart. It is not the sword that brings most to ruin, but the tempest of their own emotions, raging without command. The world belongs not to those who feel deeply, but to those who hold their feelings in chains, releasing them only when it serves their gain. To master fortune, one must first master the storm within. Few dare to confront this truth, for it strips away every comfort. Yet it is only in this mastery that invincibility is born. Do you wish to know how? Then listen closely. To be untouchable in spirit, you must first learn the discipline of detachment. The common man allows his soul to rise and fall with the tide of fortune, ecstatic in victory, broken in defeat, enslaved by every passing circumstance. Such a man is a puppet, his strings pulled by the hands of fate and the whims of others. But the one who aspires to invincibility must sever those strings, refusing to be governed by what lies beyond his control. Do not mistake this for the absence of feeling, for the heart that feels nothing is no better than stone. Rather, it is the art of holding emotions in your grasp, instead of being swept away by their current. Imagine the warrior who trembles with fear before the battle even begins. His enemy has already triumphed, not by the sword, but by the trembling of his spirit. Now imagine the one who enters the same field with calmness, unmoved by either the promise of glory or the threat of death. This man is dangerous, for he cannot be shaken. To be detached is to stand above both hope and despair, to see them as illusions that enslave lesser minds. Fortune will come, fortune will go. It is a fool's game to anchor your soul to either. The world will provoke you constantly, tempting you to react. Success will try to intoxicate you, and loss will try to poison you. Both are traps, for the one who rejoices too much in victory grows careless, and the one who mourns too long in defeat wastes his strength. You must teach yourself to look at both with equal eyes, neither seduced by praise nor crushed by insult. What power does an enemy have if he cannot disturb your calm? What control can fortune claim if you do not bend to its favor or fury? The secret lies in remembering that nothing outside you belongs to you. Not wealth, not position, not even the loyalty of those who swear fidelity today and betray tomorrow. These things are loaned, never owned. To attach your heart to them is to build a fortress on sand. But to stand apart, to enjoy without clinging, and to lose without despair, is to build upon rock. Then no tide can sweep you away. Detachment is not indifference. It is supremacy. It allows you to act with precision, to think clearly when others are drowning in their passions. It grants you the power to decide when to show anger, when to show joy, and when to show nothing at all. Such control unsettles others, for men fear what they cannot read, and they respect what they cannot move. When you master detachment, you no longer beg the world to be kind to you. You command yourself to be unshaken by whatever the world decides to be. And in that mastery, you become untouchable. Control of your outward face is one of the greatest defenses a man can possess. Understand this. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are instruments, but only for the one who wields them with calculation. To reveal your heart without measure is to hand your enemy the map to your vulnerabilities. The moment you allow anger to blaze openly, you show where you can be provoked. The instant you display your joy without restraint, you reveal what can be taken from you. Those who wear their hearts upon their sleeves are clay to be molded by others. But those who wear the mask command the stage, and every observer bends to their script. Consider how men trust appearances more than truth, how they respond not to what is but to what is shown. If you master your expression, if you decide which feelings to reveal and which to conceal, You control not only yourself, but the perception of others. In battle, the warrior who looks fearless inspires dread, even if his heart races within. In council, the man who appears calm seems wiser than the one who lets passion cloud his voice, even if both know the same truths. It is not reality that rules men, but the illusion you project. This does not mean you must live without passion. On the contrary, passion is a great force, but it must remain your servant, not your master. Learn to summon it when it strengthens your position, and suppress it when it would expose you. Anger can terrify, joy can disarm, sorrow can manipulate, but only if revealed with purpose. Without control, these same emotions betray you, turning into weapons in the hands of others. A mask well worn is not deception for its own sake. It is protection. The world does not deserve the nakedness of your soul, for it will only exploit it. Keep your true feelings guarded as a treasure, revealed only when doing so secures advantage. Let your enemies strike at shadows, never sure where you truly stand. Let your allies wonder at your calm, never certain whether they have glimpsed your real thoughts or the face you chose for them. That uncertainty grants you dominion. The unreadable man cannot be cornered. He cannot be predicted, cannot be ruled, cannot be undone by insult or flattery. He moves as he wills, unbound by the reaction others expect. To wield the mask is not to live falsely. It is to live freely, for you choose what others see, while they reveal themselves without resistance. When you control the mask you wear, you possess the rarest power, to be present in the world without being mastered by it. And in that power lies invincibility. Pain is inevitable in life, but whether it destroys you or strengthens you is a choice only you can make. Most men recoil from suffering as if it were a curse, shrinking beneath it, complaining to the heavens, begging for mercy. Yet pain, properly understood, is the greatest of teachers and the most ruthless of alchemists. It burns away illusion, strips you bare, and exposes what you truly are. The weak curse it, but the strong seize it and transform it into a weapon sharper than any blade. Every betrayal carries within it a hidden gift, for it reveals the true nature of those around you. To be betrayed is not merely to be wounded, it is to be educated. The fool spends his days lamenting his misfortune, while the wise man takes note of the treachery, adjusts his vision, and grows more cunning. What hurt him once cannot hurt him again, for he has gained foresight. In this way, pain is transmuted into strategy, and the wound becomes armor. Humiliation, too, has its value. When others mock you, when they strip you of dignity, they are giving you a lesson in resilience. If you crumble under their scorn, you reveal that your worth was dependent on their opinion. But if you stand firm, unmoved by their laughter, you gain an indifference that makes you untouchable. The one who has endured disgrace without breaking is the one who no longer fears it, and a man who fears nothing cannot be controlled. Loneliness, though bitter, is another forge of strength. In solitude you are forced to confront yourself, without distraction, without illusion. Many run from this, preferring noise, company, and flattery, for silence terrifies them. But in loneliness lies clarity. It is in those empty hours that you discover who you are without applause, without witness. And when you emerge, you carry a foundation within that no crowd can provide and no enemy can destroy. Understand that nothing is wasted if you have the courage to use it. Every tear can harden into wisdom. Every scar can remind you of your endurance. Every loss can sharpen your hunger. What destroys most men is not the weight of suffering itself, but their refusal to draw strength from it. They bleed but never learn. They cry but never grow. You must be different. You must treat every wound as raw material for greatness. The man who has turned pain into power becomes dangerous, for he cannot be broken in the way others can. Strike him, and he becomes harder. Deprive him, and he becomes sharper. Betray him, and he becomes wiser. What was meant to destroy him only deepens his strength. Such a man is not merely a survivor, he is a conqueror forged in fire. And when you reach that point, when pain no longer weakens but elevates you, then no force in the world can reduce you again. For you have mastered the secret of transformation, and in that mastery lies invincibility. To seek comfort in the hands of others is to place your soul in chains. The man who depends on mercy, who thirsts for validation, builds his worth on shifting sands. Today he may be praised, and his spirit will soar. Tomorrow he may be scorned, and he will collapse into despair. Such a man has no stability, for his strength is borrowed, not owned. If you wish to be emotionally invincible, you must anchor your worth in yourself alone, where no voice of praise can intoxicate you, and no word of insult can wound you. Understand the nature of human approval. It is fickle, it is self-serving, and it is granted not from truth, but from convenience. Men will applaud you not because you are noble, but because you serve their interest. They will flatter you not because you are great, but because they wish to bend you to their will. And when your usefulness ends, their praise will evaporate as if it never existed. To depend on such a current for your strength is to stand in a storm without shelter. The same is true of mercy. He who waits for compassion from others has already admitted weakness. Mercy may come, but only if it benefits the giver, not the receiver. The strong do not beg for it, nor expect it, for they know that pity is the most fragile of protections. To lean upon it is to prepare yourself for ruin. You must cultivate within yourself a fortress of self-regard so solid that no outside judgment can shake it. Do not let applause make you proud, for it will lull you into complacency. Do not let insult humiliate you, for it will tempt you into despair. Treat both as echoes in the wind, noisy for a moment, and then gone. The voice that must matter most is your own, and it must be steady, disciplined, and firm. This does not mean you must reject all recognition. Use it if it serves your path, but never cling to it. Accept rewards without dependence, endure criticism without collapse. Let both touch you lightly, like rain upon armor, never sinking deep enough to corrode the core. The man who relies only on his own judgment, his own vision, his own strength, is a man who cannot be enslaved by the shifting moods of the world. When you are free from the need for approval, you are free from manipulation. Others may try to sway you with flattery or break you with contempt, but their weapons will strike against stone. You will remain unmoved, guided not by their voices, but by your own unshakable compass. And when you have reached this state where your worth is yours alone, you will no longer beg the world for validation or mercy. You will stand complete, untouchable, and unbroken, answerable only to yourself. If you wish to shield your heart from devastation, you must first accept the truth most men refuse to face. People are guided not by loyalty, but by interest. To expect unwavering fidelity is to prepare yourself for betrayal. Men are faithful only when it serves them, honest only when it profits them, kind only when it costs them nothing. This is not cause for bitterness, it is cause for clarity. For when you see the world as it is, treachery no longer surprises you, and what no longer surprises you cannot wound you. How many are broken because they trusted too blindly, handing over their secrets, their hopes, their very peace of mind, only to be betrayed. Yet betrayal should not astonish, for it is as natural to man as hunger or ambition. The wise do not curse it, they anticipate it. And in anticipating, they protect themselves. When you assume every bond carries the seed of self-interest, you will not collapse in grief when that seed grows into disloyalty. You will simply nod, for you saw it long before. To expect envy is equally essential. Whenever you rise, others will resent it. Whenever you achieve, others will scheme. The naive believe admiration is pure. The seasoned know admiration is often poisoned by jealousy, and praise is often the mask for hidden resentment. But foreknowledge is armor. If you know that men are prone to envy, then their hidden malice cannot ambush you. Even deception, the favorite weapon of mankind, loses its sting when anticipated. Lies spread because men find them more useful than truth. If you believe every word at face value, you will be deceived and weakened. But if you expect deceit, then you weigh every promise carefully, every oath with suspicion. And when the lie is revealed, you are not undone, for you had already prepared yourself. This posture is not cynicism, it is strength. To understand human weakness is not to despise mankind, but to refuse to be destroyed by it. When you accept that men will act for themselves before they act for you, you stop placing your soul in their hands. Their betrayal does not strike you as treason, but as inevitability, and inevitability cannot break you. Think of the one who is always shocked by betrayal, how fragile he is, how quickly he falls into despair, how deeply he is pierced by disappointment. Now think of the one who foresaw it, how calmly he accepts the moment, how swiftly he adjusts, how little his spirit is disturbed. The second man is invincible because the ground beneath him never shifts. He was prepared for its shifting all along. When you anticipate the treachery of others, you deny them the power to devastate you. Betrayal ceases to be a mortal wound and becomes a simple confirmation of what you already knew. And the man who cannot be undone by betrayal, envy, or deceit is a man no one can ever truly defeat. The fiercest enemy you will ever face does not stand before you with sword in hand. It lived within your own mind, the uncontrolled impulse, the reckless outburst, the fragile ego. These are the silent assassins that undo more men than any rival ever could. To be emotionally invincible, you must first conquer yourself, for he who cannot command his own nature is forever at the mercy of others. Discipline is the true throne of power, and without it, all strength collapses into weakness. Consider the man who speaks in anger without thought. He believes he asserts strength, but in truth, he exposes the leash by which he can be led. His enemy need only provoke him, and he will destroy himself with his own fury. Or look at the one who cannot master his desires. Offer him flattery, temptation, or the slightest reward, and he bends at once, no matter how firm he once appeared. What greater weakness can there be than to be ruled not by reason, but by impulse? True command begins in silence. It is the ability to pause when others rush, to think when others are blinded by emotion, to choose action with precision rather than react with desperation. This self-come and unsettles the world, for most men are predictable, their strings easy to pull, but the one who governs himself is unreadable. He decides his response, and in doing so, he decides the outcome. Restraint is not passivity. It is strategy. To hold your tongue when insulted is not cowardice. It is denying your enemy satisfaction. To wait when tempted by haste is not weakness. It is gathering strength while others waste theirs. The one who rules himself can unleash his emotions at will, but only as weapons sharpened for purpose, never as accidents that betray his position. Understand also that the fragile ego is a tyrant that must be dethroned. Pride makes men reckless, for they chase the fleeting shadow of approval. Vanity makes them easy prey, for they depend on the eyes of others to feel alive. but the man who has mastered his ego is untouchable. He neither swells with praise nor crumbles with scorn. His identity is not a fragile reflection of others' opinions, but a fortress built upon his own command. When you learn to direct your impulses instead of being directed by them, you cease to be a slave to circumstance. You are no longer dragged by anger, seduced by vanity, or broken by fear. You choose your path calmly, deliberately, and with force. The storms of the world rage, but they find no entry into your heart. He who has conquered kingdoms, but not himself, is doomed to ruin, for his greatest enemy still walks beside him. But he who has mastered his own nature carries within him a fortress no army can breach, and in that mastery lies the essence of invincibility.